In this video, we're going to discuss sociology. We do make decisions every day. Some decisions are routine and ordinary, and some are serious. As a student, you decide whether to wake up early or stay in bed a little longer in the morning. You decide which subject to study first, which homework to put off doing, or whether to exert more effort in doing your activity or not. These are the common things that you consider. And when asked who made the decision, it is so easy to say, I did. We think that we are independent minded and the choices that we make are based on our own free will. However, sociology makes us aware that we make these decisions within the context of our social world. It is in this context of our family, friends, classmates, probably neighborhood and other groups. When the weather is hot, we normally wear something that makes us feel cool. And when it is cold and stormy, we prefer to put on a sweater or a jacket. And in the same sense, the social world guides the choices that we make. You might start to wonder, well, yes, I make the choices, but the choices that I have are practically limited. When you decide what to have for lunch, you might ask your mom to cook sinigang. And you tell yourself, I choose this because it is my personal favorite. But if you think of other factors, could it be your favorite because it is the specialty of your mom? Or could it be because it is one of the most common dishes on Filipino tables? Or could it be because sinigang is always available in Filipino restaurants? You see, family and race have played a part in your choice of food. Now, let's look into the issue of getting into a relationship with the opposite sex. The decision on whether to get into a relationship, whom to date, and when to get into a relationship is something personal. But if you're going to really look into it, it won't seem very personal at all. There are rules in getting into a relationship. Isn't it that students are normally forbidden by the family or the school authorities to get into a serious relationship? Isn't it that parents would normally prefer that you choose someone who is from good family, or probably some might even have to choose someone from the same religion as they are? There are basically no laws that dictate those rules in the family, but try not to follow them and you will experience the consequences. And then you wonder, why does my family care so much about who my would-be girlfriend or would-be boyfriend is? When you start wondering, then you're already using sociology. In the previous video, it was mentioned that sociology is one of the disciplines under the social sciences. It highlights the external influences that facilitate or constrain human actions. And the society is explored in sociology by mapping the social forces affecting social actors as their lives intersect in the society. In simple words, sociology is the study of the society, social institutions, and social relationships. It describes and explains social behavior within a social context. Now, just like what was shown earlier, sociology focuses on the ubiquity or the everywhereness of social forces in unlikely forms. It could be sex, gender, religion, class, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and the like. Social forces refers to unseen yet powerful forces that influence how individuals and institutions behave. They are said to be impersonal because we cannot really tell who creates them. We may embrace social forces. We may be swept along or be bypassed by the social forces, or we may even challenge them. These social forces may be in the guise of rules, be it written or unwritten, norms, and expectations. These three are assumed to be natural. The social force is characterized as social actors' social map. A social map determines the opportunities and life chances that they can expect in life. A social map refers to a person's specific economic and political location. So the assumption is that a person's position in the social map determines his or her opportunities and his or her limitations in life. For example, a person's social map shows that economically, he can afford to go to the top university in the Philippines. He belongs to a family who are holding offices in the government. We can say that he has opportunities to be a politician as well, like his family. But the limitation might be that he has to be careful with his behavior because if he does anything wrong, it might fire back to the reputation of his family or it may undermine his chance to be a politician. It is also said that social maps lock out any possibilities of social mobility. However, there was this American social critic who thought otherwise. He is C. Wright Mills. He argued that a person can still go beyond the limitations posed by their respective locations, and he called this one sociological imagination. He defined sociological imagination as the vivid awareness of the relationships between private experience and the wider society. He said that this is made possible by imagining the intersection of their life situation and the events of their societies, or imagining the individual biographies and history. With this, a social actor can recognize opportunities when there is none by converting their personal troubles into public issues. When successfully done, this allows people to navigate the social world with more ease as they have these intersection points as opportunity makers. One common example is unemployment. Let's say there's this person who lost his job during this pandemic. He feels discouraged, he feels defeated, and then he tells himself, I didn't work hard enough, so I lost my job. I wasn't important to my company, so they let me go. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I am like this, and so many other things. Now, social imagination would make you think that it is not really on you, it is the world around you. This concept encourages people to stop focusing on themselves alone and look at the wider landscape of the society. Therefore, if we apply social imagination, we would think that every problem that we face has roots in the society as a whole. There are also other people who experience the same struggle. The problem is not unique to us. It can't be. Now let's look into the history of sociology. Sociology was born in Europe, especially in Germany, England, and France, during the period of the Industrial Revolution. One of the distinguishing inventions at the time was the steam engine. The Industrial Revolution caused countryside residents to move into the towns after having their lands taken away to give way for factory-based economy. And at the same time, it was also during the French Revolution when strong negative sentiments against the monarchy was created, causing the shift from monarchy to democracy. But despite the positive effects of the industrial economy, like the growth of the cities, the emergence of different political ideas transforming social life, there were also problems that started to exist. There was unemployment, there was increasing crime rate, there was widespread poverty, to name a few. And then people began to wonder, how do we solve these difficult problems? The majority of the critical reflections at the time focused on the seen and projected impact of these changes on their traditional way of life. It caused dissolution of the family as the basic unit of the society, the construction of new forms of social interactions, and the emergence of new social identities. Now, there were some such sociologists who raised critical questions on this. The first set of sociologists who raised critical questions about the increasing changes or the surge of changes brought about by the establishment of more and more factories within and outside England were Auguste Comte, Karl Marx, Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim, and Max Weber. Auguste Comte is considered as the father of sociology. He was the one who coined the term sociology in 1842 using the Greek word socius or companion and the Latin word logos or study. Growing up during the French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution, he argued that the society should be analyzed not in its ideal state, but as it is. He is also the proponent of positivism. Now, Karl Marx is the proponent of the conflict theory. Karl Marx grew up poor. He was hungry. He was exiled several times. He was declared persona non grata by his own country, Germany. Persona non grata means he was prohibited from entering or remaining in that country. But what he witnessed, what he saw and felt was the evils of the social inequality. He argued that there was capitalist exploitation of the labor class because of profit. Now, Herbert Spencer, he's associated with the birth of sociology in England. He was the first one to use the phrase survival of the fittest. He argued that doing something to help the weak, poor, and needy would disturb the natural selection. Therefore, governments should not rescue the needy. He said that doing so would disturb the natural selection process. Emile Durkheim, he was the first French sociologist. He was instrumental in the formalization and later on the recognition of sociology as the new science of the study of society because of his landmark study of suicide. He was the one who introduced the concept social fact, and social fact is another name for social phenomenon. Social fact was the characteristic feature of the power of ideas to create social realities for members of society. He proved that social forces has a strong impact in people's lives by showing the three forms of suicide he observed. And those three forms of suicide were in different societies, but they were all provoked by what they think their moral standing was based on what is perceived in their culture. The next one is Max Weber. He is from Germany, and he is the most important proponent of the interpretive sociology. He argued that a sympathetic understanding of the mind of others was important to understanding the behavior of others. He also argued that religion is very influential in the actions and thoughts of people. Again, this is the first set of sociologists who raised critical questions during the French and Industrial Revolution. You have Auguste Comte, Karl Marx, Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim, and Max Weber. Hello? Okay, ready. 3, 2, 1. Let 3, 2, 1.